Yeah, hi, welcome. So in this video, we will discuss about Java records. So Java records were introduced in Java 16, and so it simplifies creating the data carrying objects like DTOs, POJOs, and value objects without any boilerplate codes. So a record is a special kind of class in Java which is designed to hold the immutable data. So it automatically provides the following functionalities. For example, the constructor for all the arguments, the accessor methods to get those values, and equals and hashCode contract, for the uniqueness of the object, and the toString implementation. So without record, okay, we have to write code in such a manner that we have to if you're writing an immutable class, you have to mention the constructor, you have to mention each of them as a private final. Then we have to use the getter methods here, write the equals and hashCode contract, as well as implement the toString method here. So if you see, there is a lot of boilerplate code here, but by using the record data, using the record, then we can just reduce this boilerplate code. So with just one line of code, we can just remove all the boilerplate codes. Okay, as mentioned in the below functionality, so it will just provide all the it will provide the constructor for it, the accessor method for it, and equals and hashcode method for that specific class, and toString implementation. Don't have to write all these boilerplate codes. We'll get the record in the following manner. Okay, so what are the functionalities of, for example, it is immutable by default. Okay, all the fields are final and set via the constructor. Okay, and we have the canonical construct wherein we have the automatically generated constructor with all the components, and then we will have the accessor method. So you don't get a get method per se. We'll just will get something like, if at all you're having a name like a field like a name, so you'll get something like name method name. Not get something like get name method. Okay, and you cannot extend any other class. So records implicitly extend the Java underlying record. Okay, so you cannot extend any other class with it. You can use records to implement the other interfaces, and also you can define the custom methods. You can define the custom methods inside. So we'll see all this thing using the code example. Okay, so also we can customize the record. So we can add the validation in the constructor. We can add additional methods if we want here. We can add static fields or methods inside the records, and we just will see all those things using the code. So where are they used? Okay, mostly in the data transfer objects, where the purpose of the object is just to hold the data and use for transfer. For the configuration objects, wherein we use the config values which are static in nature and rarely change. So there we can use this configuration records. So also as a response in the REST APIs, we can use the records and immutable value objects which hardly change. For example, geo coordinates and the range and other stuff. We'll see all of this using a code example. So let's get started with the code. Okay, if you see here, we have an employee class. If you see an employee class here, we have to write so much code here, right? As I showed in the slide, you have to declare private final, you have to declare the constructor and all this stuff. So we can declare a record using this, like public record, employee, and all the fields which we want in that specific record. For example, here we want name and age. Just for simplicity, we have taken only two fields. So let's create that object and see how it works. Okay, so we have an employee object, and we can just pass on the values here. For example, let's say we have Harish here and we have an age, let's say 35 example. So that's it. We don't have to do any other thing. And if you want to access all the, see, print this object, you will have the toString implementation by default here using this. And also we can get, using the accessor methods, we can also get what is the, so if you see here, we don't have any get name or get age. We just have the accessor methods like age. Okay, and also, okay, so let us print this out. If you see here, we have a toString implementation of it, even though we have not mentioned anything here. We have by default toString implementation. We were able to access the object also, and to ensure whether this, let's create a duplicate object of this. Let's okay to check whether the hash code and equals contracts is implemented or not. So we'll just add one more employee here as employee one here. You see the content is the same. So let's take add it in a set for that matter. Let's say added an employee and okay, then we will just add a hash set. Okay, so in this hash set we'll add both the duplicate objects. Okay, and yeah, so in this employees we'll add both the objects and see whether if it is hash code and equals contract is implemented, then we should get only a single object inserted. Okay, so let us verify whether equals hashcode contract is implemented or not here. So we just see here, and if we just try to print this object employees, okay, let us print this out. If see a single object is inserted, that means equals and hashcode contract is implemented by default in the records. This verifies this. Okay, so let us also customize this. So as mentioned, like we can also customize, you can also validate the fields which are there. For example, using in the default in the default constructor, what we can do here is, you see, if age is, let's say, is less than 21, we can just throw that an invalid age must be greater than something like that. We can throw some exception here just for demonstration purpose. Okay, so we can just say age should be more than 21. Okay, and this is how we can just validate it. And also we can add static fields here. So just we can add like public static final. Okay, we can just, so let's say we can add something like a company name here. Okay, company name is equal to, let's say I write something like okay, just some dummy name. Okay, we can add static field also. We can add a method also. Let's do something like, let's say, okay, get uppercase name, right? Something like that. Okay, just let us use a simple example. And here what we'll do here is we can just do name dot, okay, to uppercase, something like that. Yeah, you can just do something like this. Okay, so let us use this. Let us say, let us remove this, that example. Okay, and this also. So let's say if I add something like 18, okay, so let us see if I get any exception or not. Yeah, I'm getting an exception. So we can just add the validation inside the constructor, and let us revert this back. And also what we can do here is we can also access the method which we created, uppercase name, and also we can access the static fields which we created. Okay, so for static field access, what we can do is we can just use employee dot company name. So let us see, let us see the output for this. Yeah, you see, this is the method output, and this is the static value, xcop value. Yeah, so this demonstrates that we can use static fields here, and also we can add some validation within the constructor, and also we can write our own custom methods here with this. I think that's it from my side. I think this tutorial was helpful to you. Thank you.